Hi, this is Gary Payrow, Professor Cashflow, and I want to talk to you today about seller financing and why it can put a bundle in your pocket. So first of all, what is seller financing? And I have my, there it is, put down my pen for a bit, but welcome to all people who are joining me today live. I'm going to talk about seller financing first of all, in a context that we really understand it, a way that it's kind of simple, then we'll talk about real estate and how you can actually put money in your IRA or into your bank account by using seller financing. So first of all, what is it? Well, it's a loan that's made to buy something, but it's not a bank who's making the loan, it's the seller who's making the loan. So let's say you want to buy a car. I'm not the artist that I would like to be, but you know what? I'll make it work anyway. There's the car. It's got 4 wheels and it costs, let's say, $40,000. And you would love to buy the car, but you don't have $40,000. Let's say you have $5,000. Well, you could go to the bank and you could have the bank, not a real happy face there, but you know how bankers can be. So you can go to the bank and you can have a bank loan. And what the bank will do is you give the $5,000 to the seller. The bank gives what? $35,000. And now this guy gives you the car and he's totally paid off. But what if you don't want to use the bank? What if the seller says, you know what? I'll be the bank. Actually, what happens, you know, I said this kind of bad, is the bank gives this guy 35K, okay, and then he adds his 5K to the 35K and gives a total of 40K. Well, what happens if the seller is the bank? All right. Well, now the seller doesn't have to give the 35K to the buyer and then have it come back to him. The 35K is already there. It's his money. It's his value in the property, in the asset. So still, now this never happens. This doesn't really happen. The 35K is still loaned. It's still a loan, right? It just doesn't transfer to the guy, but the debt transfers. So it ends up just as it was, except that now instead of the bank holding the debt, now the seller owns the debt. And therefore it's seller financing. So he loaned the buyer the money to make the purchase. So how does this work in a real estate transaction? Pretty much the same way. So you don't need a bank to do that. And why would you use something like that? Well, I actually, right now, I'm buying a business. I'm in the process of creating a business that will buy actually healthcare facilities that are in trouble. Now, these healthcare facilities, are these assets or liabilities? Well, I like Robert Kiyosaki's definition. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. So this potentially is an asset, but it really depends upon, are they making money? Are they losing money? Are they in debt or are they not in debt? So this asset, potential asset, might be in debt more than it's worth, you know, that it's equipment and everything. And it might be losing money. So it's really a liability. So if I look to buy this, I could pay the guy. If the guy wants $5 million for it, I could pay the $5 million and I might be able to get it up to a valuation of $8 million. Okay. But what if I can't? And this potential 5 million, it could go to 8 million, which would be great for everybody. It can also go to zero, or virtually zero. So if it goes to zero, who loses? Well, the investor loses. So what we could do is we could use seller financing and say, we will agree to an $8 million price, let's say, but we would not pay you the $8 million. You will loan us some money for the $8 million because right now we have to turn this thing around. And of course, if it were going to be worth $8 million, we'd probably be paying them, $5 million or $6 million, but we agree to the 5 or 6 million price because we think we can get up to 8 million. But we're not going to pay them 8 million up front because we could lose our shirts. So we will take this and we will have a lien against the property where we owe them 8 million. Now that would have to be forgiven if it goes to zero. We still don't want to pay them the 8 million. So we'd have that written into the contract. But this is a great way to use seller financing for an asset of indeterminate value. Other ways, you could buy a market for overpriced. You say, well, what do you mean buy a market for overpriced? Well, let's say you own a property and you want to get more for the property than the current value. Okay. Well, very commonly this happens when you get an appraisal. So if you have a house and let's say you're asking 1.2 million, okay, and the buyer is willing to pay 1.2 million. Oops. And he thinks that's great, but let's say the appraisal only comes in for 1.1 million. And you say, dang it, now I can't get that bank, he can't get that bank loan. We can't sell it for 1.2 million. What are we going to do now? Well, you could drop the price, by $100,000. That would make him really happy. Okay, he'd be ecstatic with that. Woohoo! But you could also use seller financing in this case, and you could loan him the 100K. And then what he does is he starts making payments to the bank. Okay, here's the bank. And then he starts making payments back to you on that 100K. So now you have a note, a promise to pay on that $100,000, and now you're making money every month. And you can charge him whatever interest rate you want. Now, if you have money in the bank, your bank is paying you what, 0.5% of interest? What if you could get 5% of interest on this, or 6%? Okay, so you can get 10 times what the bank will pay you by using the equity in your house. Now take it one step further. Let's say you wanted to sell it for 1.2 and you didn't really need the cash. You would just put it in the bank and make 0 interest or 0.5% interest. What if instead you found another buyer who who had trouble with a bank? Maybe he's a foreign national and he doesn't have the paperwork. Maybe he's been through a bankruptcy and there's a reason for it. You understand why it happened. You understand it's not going to happen. He's a good risk. He's got a good income, but the banks won't give him a loan. Well, you can sell this for 1.2, maybe even 1.3, because he can't go to a bank. You're willing to give him financing. And now you could what if you're making 6% or 6% on the money that you loan him? Is that better than putting it into the bank at 0.5%? Yeah, I think so. Now you can also, so this is how you can use this. You can use it for selling a house. You still need, if you sold it in that case, you still need title insurance. You still, the banks, working with a bank will give you some safeguards because they know how to keep their money safe. So you need to be able to keep your money safe. So you still need title insurance and all that. I've seen, I help people. I'm looking at my list of questions that people often ask me about this. So this is how homeowners can do it, but passive investors can also benefit from seller financing in that you can come up and find opportunities for using seller financing in deals, and then you could make the loan where you could loan the money to this guy, and then you could be collecting the interest. Or there are seller finance notes out there. So I find seller finance notes all the time. And if you wanted to get 6%, 7% interest on your money, and you're sick and tired of it wasting itself away in your bank, I can help you do that. Or if it's in your IRA, notes are a great way to invest in IRAs because they're totally passive. You don't have to worry about tenants, termites, toilets. You don't have to worry about self-dealing, where if you have a house in your IRA, you could get in trouble if you let the wrong person stay there. Or if you do some sweat equity in that property, you could end up canceling out all the tax benefits from your IRA. Whereas notes are inherently passive investments. So they're great investments for IRAs. And the money just keeps rolling in. It's not something that you have to worry about. You don't have to manage it because it's already set up. If it's a 20-year note, that payment's going to keep coming in for 20 years, and you don't have to worry about it. And by the way, with prices going up, your investment is continually getting safer because as the value of the asset goes up, the security on your loan is getting more and more valuable. So if they did stop paying and you took the asset back, you took the house back, now if this house is worth 1.4 and you had loaned 800,000 on the note, you would have $600,000 of equity there. So great way for either for home buyers, home sellers, for passive investors to understand how seller financing works so that you can make a profit and you can be the bank. Basically, you are becoming the bank. And so you make money just the way banks do. And it's safe in the same way that banks don't get sued if somebody falls on a rental property. Who gets sued? The landlord. Now you can get insurance, but it's nice to be the bank where you don't get toilet calls in the middle of the night and nobody ever thinks about suing you. So I also help active investors. I help landlords. I often take landlords. If you're renting a house, you can convert that rental into a seller finance sale. The benefit there to a landlord is you don't have expenses. Okay, you don't have to pay the taxes. You don't have to pay for maintenance. On a rental, if you have to repair a house or an air conditioning unit goes out, that can cradle your profits for 2 or 3 years. So maintenance and other expenses can really make it tough on landlords, especially nowadays with the foreclosure, not the foreclosure, but the eviction moratorium that was happening during COVID. That can be an issue. But if you're selling the property, you don't have to worry about that. So I love working with investors. I love working with landlords. I really enjoy working with passive investors who are just looking for a way to juice up the returns in their IRA. And this can be a really easy way for them to do it. So if any of this sounds good, I'd love for you to reach out to me. The best way to do that is go to passivemonthlyprofits.com and set up a time when we can talk. You can also get a great freebie, my ebook on why saving for retirement is done. That may sound silly, it may sound crazy, but actually, especially in times when there is higher inflation than other times, just saving money can be one of the worst things that you can do. I mean, it's better than piling up credit card debt. I'm not saying that, but just saving money is not going to get you there. It's not the way that wealthy people do it. They don't just put their money in a bank account. They have multiple ways to keep their money moving, keep it working, and keep their financial picture strong as a result of not just waiting for inflation to eat their lunch every month. So that's it. Again, Passive Monthly Profits. Go on there and get a hold of me. And if you're viewing this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button, or even on Facebook. Just message me and let me know what you think about it. Thanks so much, and you have an awesome day.